Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. Al Jazeera reports that Iranian officials have warned that Israel's escalating military actions in Lebanon and ongoing hostilities in Gaza threaten to derail current ceasefire negotiations with the United States. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araqchi, stated that the ceasefire between Iran and the U.S. is meant to be on all fronts, and any violation, including Israel's deepening invasion of Lebanon and continued siege of Iranian ports, would be a breach. Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagh Ghalibah echoed these concerns, adding that every choice has a price. The Israeli military subsequently issued a displacement order for southern Beirut suburbs and ordered strikes, while its ground forces made their deepest push into Lebanon in 26 years. U.S. President Donald Trump, however, claimed he intervened to de-escalate the situation, asserting that he had received assurances from Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu that troops would not advance to Beirut and that he had spoken with Hezbollah representatives who agreed to cease fire. This claim regarding talks with Hezbollah, a U.S.-designated foreign terrorist organization, would mark an unprecedented diplomatic engagement for a U.S. president. Iran's IRGC also issued threats to open new fronts and close the Strait of Hormuz if Israeli military action does not stop, emphasizing that crossing red lines in Lebanon and Gaza means direct war. The U.S. is reportedly trying to separate the Israel-Hezbollah conflict from broader Iran tensions, but Tehran insists Lebanon must be part of any future deal. In a CNBC interview, President Donald Trump stated he couldn't care less if peace negotiations with Iran were over, describing them as very boring. His comments followed reports from Iranian state media that Tehran would halt talks with the U.S. and block the Strait of Hormuz due to Israeli military actions in Lebanon. Trump expressed no concern about spiking oil prices, asserting they would drop like a rock and that Americans would accept higher gas prices to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. He also criticized NATO allies for not offering more help in securing the Strait of Hormuz, arguing Europe relies on it more than the U.S. Later on Monday, Trump posted on Truth Social, claiming a very productive call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu resulted in an agreement to prevent troops from going to Beirut and a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah. He also stated that talks are continuing at a rapid pace with the Islamic Republic of Iran. CNBC reports that Florida Attorney General James Youthmeyer has filed a lawsuit against artificial intelligence company OpenAI and its CEO, Sam Altman. The 83-page complaint alleges that OpenAI knowingly released an unsafe product, ChatGPT, which has contributed to mass shootings, driven individuals to suicide, impaired critical thinking skills, and caused addiction in minors. The lawsuit claims these harms stem from OpenAI's insatiable quest to win the AI arms race and amass large fortunes. Youthmeyer's office seeks to hold Altman personally liable for his alleged utter disregard for the risk to human life and to compel OpenAI to adhere to the Florida Deceptive and Unfair Trade Practices Act. Florida is the first U.S. state to take such action, with Youthmeyer anticipating more states to follow. This legal action follows a criminal investigation launched by Youthmeyer into OpenAI's role in a 2025 mass shooting. OpenAI is also facing other lawsuits, including from victims of a Canadian mass shooting and several wrongful death claims. Artificial intelligence. AI development company Anthropic announced on June 1st that it has filed an application for an initial public offering, IPO, with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. This move comes as leading AI development firms in the United States, including OpenAI and SpaceX, are successfully planning to go public to secure additional development funds. Anthropic stated in its announcement that it has obtained the option to go public after a review by the SEC. While an IPO within the current year appears increasingly likely, the company noted that the specific timing and scale of the offering would depend on market conditions and other factors, thus not disclosing further details. Founded in San Francisco in 2021 by former OpenAI developers, Anthropic is the youngest among the 3 U.S. AI companies aiming for an IPO. It has experienced rapid growth, particularly driven by strong performance in its enterprise-focused products, highlighting the intensifying competition within the AI sector. Asahi Shimbun. According to Zio Shabal, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian today pledged to Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi that Iran would facilitate the smooth passage of Japanese vessels through the Strait of Hormuz. This commitment was made during a phone call between the two leaders, as stated by the Iranian president's office. The Strait of Hormuz has been largely closed since the outbreak of the Middle East war in late February. Concurrently, Iranian state media reported threats from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps (IRGC) to open a new front in response to Israel's offensive in Lebanon. The IRGC intelligence agency warned that Iran would consider any crossing of the red lines in Lebanon and Gaza as a direct war, vowing to undertake defensive actions and maintain the established situation of the Strait of Hormuz. This dual message highlights the complex geopolitical dynamics in the region. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.